Revelation 10. The mighty angel, the seven thunders, and the little scroll. The mighty angel and the little scroll. Between the sixth trumpet and the seventh, the vision pauses. Before the last blast sounds, John is shown two things that prepare him and the reader for what the end of the trumpets will mean. The first is a figure of overwhelming majesty. He saw another mighty angel coming down out of heaven, wrapped in a cloud, with a rainbow over his head, his face like the sun, and his legs like pillars of fire. Every detail of him echoes the descriptions of God and of the glorified Christ from earlier in the book. The cloud, the rainbow about the throne, the face shining like the sun, the feet like burnished bronze glowing in a furnace. Whether this is Christ himself or an angel bearing his glory, he comes clothed in the authority of heaven, and he comes down, onto the earth, into the scene of judgment. In his hand he held a little scroll lying open, not sealed now as the great scroll had been in the earlier vision, but open, ready to be read and received. And he set his right foot on the sea and his left foot on the land, a stance that claims the whole created order, sea and dry land alike, under the sovereignty of the one who sent him. Then he cried out with a loud voice, like a lion roaring. When he cried out, the seven thunders sounded their own voices. The sealing of the seven thunders. John heard the seven thunders speak, and he understood them, and he was about to write down what they said. This is the only place in the entire book where John is forbidden to record what he has seen or heard. A voice from heaven stopped his pen. Seal up what the seven thunders have said, and do not write it down. This is a striking reversal, and it carries meaning. At the very end of the book, John will be told the opposite. Do not seal up the words of the prophecy of this book, for the time is near. Revelation 22:10. In deliberate contrast to Daniel, who was told to seal his vision because the time was far off. Daniel 12:4. Revelation as a whole is an unsealed book for an imminent fulfillment. So the sealing of the seven thunders is the exception that proves the rule. Most of what John sees is to be made plain because it is about to happen. This one portion is held back. Some judgments, it seems, are not for the church to know in advance. The thunders remain God's own counsel, withheld, a reminder that even in a book of unveiling, there are things kept hidden, and that the one who reveals also reserves the right to conceal. The oath, no more delay. Then the angel John had seen standing on the sea and on the land raised his right hand to heaven and swore by the one who lives forever and ever, who created heaven and the earth and the sea and everything in them, that there would be no more delay. The gesture is the gesture of a solemn oath, and the object sworn by is the eternal Creator himself. This is the most binding declaration a creature can make. The words of the oath matter greatly, and they have often been misread. The older translation, "There should be time no longer," made generations of readers think the angel was announcing the end of time itself, the close of all history. But the Greek chronos here means a span or interval, and the sense is not that time will cease to exist, but that the time of waiting is over. There will be no more delay. The cry of the martyrs under the altar, "How long?" had been answered with, "A little longer." Now even that little while has run out. The angel swears that the postponement is finished. And he names what comes next. In the days of the voice of the seventh angel, when he is about to sound his trumpet, the mystery of God would be finished, just as he had announced to his servants the prophets. The mysterion, the mystery of God, is not a riddle, but a long-hidden purpose now brought to completion. The whole plan that the prophets had spoken of, moving at last to its appointed end. When the seventh trumpet sounds, that purpose reaches its fulfillment. The interlude is telling the reader that the trumpets are nearly done, and that what they have been announcing is about to arrive in full. Eat the scroll, sweet and bitter. Then the voice from heaven spoke to John again, and told him to go and take the open scroll from the hand of the angel standing on the sea and the land. So John went to the angel and asked him for the little scroll, and the angel said, "Take it and eat it. It will make your stomach bitter, but in your mouth it will be sweet as honey." This is the prophet's commissioning, and it is drawn straight from Ezekiel. Centuries earlier, Ezekiel had been handed a scroll covered with words of lamentation and mourning and woe, and told to eat it, and in his mouth it was sweet as honey. Ezekiel 2:9-3:3. To eat the scroll is to take God's message fully into oneself, to internalize it before proclaiming it. John does as he is told. He took the little scroll from the angel's hand and ate it, and it was sweet as honey in his mouth. But when he had swallowed it, his stomach turned bitter. The two tastes are the whole burden of a true prophet. The word of God is sweet. It is honey. It is the privilege of carrying the living word, the vindication of the saints, the triumph of God's purpose, the answer to how long. But the same word, once taken in and digested, turns bitter, because its content is judgment, the ruin of a city and a people, the death of a third of mankind, the dirge that is coming. A prophet who delights in the sweetness but never feels the bitterness has not truly eaten the scroll. John must taste both, the joy that God reigns and will set things right, and the grief that setting things right means a beloved nation falling under the weight of its own refusal. And so the interlude ends with a recommissioning. They said to him, "You must prophesy again about many peoples and nations and tongues and kings." The work is not finished. John has eaten the scroll, sweet and bitter both, and now he is sent back to speak it. The pause is over. The seventh trumpet is about to sound, and beyond it lies the unveiling of the two witnesses, the woman and the dragon, the beasts and the fall of the great city. John has been prepared. Now the reader is told, in effect, to brace as well. For what was held in delay is held no longer.